Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
So have you ever thought to yourself, hey, I'd like to have that, or I'd like to have maybe that person, or have something in your life? Well, you're manifesting it, putting it out into the universe potentially, but are you doing it the way you should be doing it? We're going to talk about that today. Kendall Knight joins us from homeyogaandfitness.com. Hey, Kendall, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. Yeah, you do a lot. I mean, you're a Reiki expert, master practitioner. You do chakras. There's a lot, and of course, yoga, and just a fantastic facility that you have there. But you also run layers deeper when we talk about energy and things that are spiritual. Manifestation is definitely one of them. Why don't we boil it down right to the beginning? When you manifest something, what are you doing?
Well, manifestation. So what manifesting means is essentially bringing something tangible into your life through attraction and belief. So, and you can be manifesting positive and negative. And we're going to get into that with law of action. However, so manifestation, like you just said, okay, I guess you want this purse or something, or you want something in your life to happen. Okay, I'd like to make more money at my job. We'll say that. I know that's monetary. However, it's realistic, right? A lot of us would maybe like to make a little bit more money. Okay, so how can you create abundance in your life? So you take that thought pattern and you start thinking about it every morning. Say you get up and you think, hey, I'm creating more abundance in my life. I am creating more abundance. Not even I want, let's just start right off the hop. Like this is going to happen. And that's the manifestation there. I'm creating abundance in my life. So you're already leaving that house in the morning, knowing that the money's going to start flowing a little bit better for you, more for you through that manifestation of I'm creating more abundance for myself, whatever the mantra affirmation you'd like to use is, or say you'd like to be a healthier person. You know, you think of how you could be a healthier person and you think of a mantra and affirmation that would roll with that. I am living a healthy life. I am living a healthy life. And then you manifest that's your manifestation. And then you just continually reel that through your mind. You can do it before bed. It's called the pillow method. So you're laying down in your bed. You start thinking, okay, what would you really like in life? So there you go. You're creating that belief. It's tangible. And you start thinking about it. And as soon as you start thinking about these things, it's a really beautiful thing. I'll talk about my manifestation of the space. So my home yoga and fitness space. I've worked all over. I've worked in Canada. I've worked all over in Houston, different provinces in Canada, and always for other people, which has been beautiful. And I'm extremely grateful for all of my encounters and all the opportunities I've had in my over 23 years of fitness. And finally, it was like I was running to 4 different locations all over Houston, kind of like a crazy person. And I'm thinking in my head, like, oh, okay, I'd really like to have a place where I could call home yoga and fitness, my own space. I mean, and then there was a lot of that disbelief kind of running through my head. So I wasn't ready for it, because if you're thinking in a disbelief side of things as well, you're manifesting that as well, that disbelief that it's going to happen. So I had like this on one end, I believe and I want this so badly, but then on the other hand, can I do this? Am I skilled enough? Do I have enough knowledge? Am I strong enough to do this on my own and open up a business by myself and do all these other things in my life? So it just wasn't happening for me for a long time. And then finally, I was running my teacher's studio, teaching all of his classes, then teaching all of my classes all over Houston for about 5 weeks. He went back to Germany. And I finally, in my head was like, wow, I want my own space. Not even want, I'm having my own space. And so I finally let down and like let go of the disbelief of it. And then I just kept saying to myself, I'm going to have my own space. I'm having my own space. And every morning I would just believe in that. And then finally, through that manifestation, that belief system, I was offered this space through Jay and Val's gym. They're right next door to me. And they offered it to me, like I said, in COVID, and I think our first podcast. And even then again, it was offered to me. I was manifesting it so hard, believing in it. I'm going to have my own space. Then I did it to myself again. and I went back to that negative manifestation, because manifesting isn't always positive. It can be negative and positive, right? And I think that's the thing, is people always think manifestation is positive. But if you're thinking negative thoughts constantly, you're manifesting those negative aspects. And so then I came back to, oh my gosh, it's COVID. I'm going to open up a business. What am I going to do? Okay, now's not the time. It's just not going to work for me. Well, every month they kind of kept checking in with me and, seeing, and I still had that huge positive manifestation part where I want to have my own space. I've got this. I can do this. And then finally, I let go of that disbelief manifestation, that negative manifestation, completely wholeheartedly. And I dipped and dove right in. And then I got the space.
Wow. Interesting. And we're so programmed to be disbelieving and negative. Those thoughts just go in your mind. Sometimes it's hard to get rid of them. And people tell me too, with the manifestation, that in addition to saying, I will have this, say, I have this.
Mm-hmm.
I have it. I have the space. I have my own, fitness and facility. I have it. It's here. It's because a lot of people believe it's out there. You just got to bring it to you. It's floating out there.
Well, it's taking action, right? Like
Right.
springing our manifestations into our own reality.
It's almost like the law of attraction too, where, and I know it's a cliche, but if you're positive, you bring positivity to you. That's kind of the baseline of what we're talking about right here.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And then, so then from kind of the whole manifesting part, then you think law of attraction, and then let's take it even another step in, and maybe another direction, law of action. So in law of action, now you have this manifestation, this has come to you, but now what are you going to do about it? Are you going to play and explore that? Or are you just going to kind of settle with it? Okay, well, I hit this part, I have this space. Okay, I'll just teach a little bit of yoga here. Let's just see what happens. And I do believe also on trusting the universe, or whatever your spiritual beliefs are, trusting in that and seeing what happens. But are you just moving through like wishful thinking, right? Are you taking that law of action step now? So you've planted the seed, moving back, for example, the space. Planted the seed, finally manifested to get this beautiful space. Okay, I get the space. Now what am I going to do? What am I going to do with it? Am I going to I've planted the seed, but now am I going to look after it? Am I going to water it? Am I going to let some sunshine on it so it can actually grow? Or am I just going to be stagnant? I've manifested, I got what I wanted, essentially. And am I going to grow this plant, however you'd like, whatever terminology you'd like to look at it? And for me, that's the law of action. It's like, you've planted the seed now, and let's look after it and see where it grows from there. And it's such a beautiful thing to really step into what you want and what your desires are of life, and finding that joy and tranquility within through your manifestations.
So would you say, Kendall, you put it out there into the universe to have your own space, you got your own space. Did you also manifest what you're going to do with it as well?
So that's why I am excited to like kind of talk about this whole law of action thing. I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I, again, was a little, kind of went backwards again, had a few doubts on myself. Like, okay, I'm only going to teach, I called it home yoga and fitness because I did want more than just yoga in here. I wanted to also have other aspects of different modalities of fitness. So that I knew right off the hop. So seeds planted, got that all in there. What kind of organic dirt and fertilizer are we going to put in it now? And then from there, it's just honestly, like, I call this space my labor of love. I just had a new student for Reiki today, a new client come in, and this is the first time she saw this space. Now the lights are on right now. It's bright, but when the lights are off, it's pretty warm and homey. And she's like, oh my gosh, I mean, holy, like, you've created this. And I said, yeah, because I watered my plant. I put some sun on it. And I mean, this plant is continuing to grow. And this is my manifestation, is this space. So I just am using that as an example so people can kind of, find some commonality within that, whatever their manifestations are. This was my manifestation. And now I'm growing this plant. And sometimes I need to prune it a little bit. Sometimes it needs a little added food, or maybe it needs a little talk love and a sit beside it and a talk to it. Yeah.
But you know what's funny? What your client said before we went on the air, I looked at your background there, and I think in the past you've had the curtain there, and I looked and I said, wow, that looks really good. Something's different. Like I'm feeling an energy coming from your space. That's what I said in the very beginning. And I can't put my finger on it, but it looks different. It looks positive, vibrant. It's just a good vibe coming from there. And then your client said the same exact thing, and I'm sure other people say about your area as well.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. And like I said, this space has started with me coming in and having paint on the floor and paint on the walls, and it's just continued to grow. Again, just looking after it, tending to the plant.
Yep. So with the manifestation, final questions here on it. How do you put your intentions out there? Like, so, I think we said, some people write it and put it underneath their pillow. Maybe you put it in your phone. Maybe you meditate on it. Any suggestions, things that you've done, you've heard?
So a lot of people like that, like I said, the pillow method, right before they go to bed, they think about the positive things that they like in their life. Again, trying to pull away from the negative manifestations. And you can do scripting, the mantras, the affirmation of whatever you choose. I like to put mine on a sticky note, and I put it on my mirror in my bathroom. So, you think about what's when you wake up in the morning and you're getting ready, well, it's right in your face there. Those are my mantras for whether it's what I'm manifesting or what I need internally for myself to grow, not just externally, like things that we have, maybe not just, but what's going on internally that maybe I need to hear that other people aren't saying for me. And I'm really looking for that right now. So I just do that. And I also put little sticky notes in my car as well. Sometimes I'll put one in my back pocket. So if I'm kind of feeling a little bit, again, questioning myself, because we all do it. You can sit here and say all the things, right? Do this, don't do this, do this. But that doesn't mean I'm some evolved being and I do all those things. I work very hard at manifesting positivity. But again, that's why I be incredibly transparent, authentic. It doesn't always happen. And those negative manifestations do come in.
Sure.
So it's just shifting gears again and just making different choices with that. Okay, I'm not going to think on that past. I'm doing this, or I have this, so on and so forth. But yeah, those are kind of what I like to do.
I love the sticky notes, and thank you for saying that. And if you looked at my desk in that room right over there, on it are a bazillion sticky notes. It's just, love technology. I put it on everything, but I find if it's in my face, it's going to resonate. And what a great easy way to do it. Put it on the back of a door before you leave a room. Put it, like by the coffee maker, whatever it might be. You're not going to miss it. Typically a neon color in the background. I love that. And yeah, to your point also that we are wired, I think from birth as kids to be negative. There's always negativity around us. Your parents are, don't do that. Stop doing that. It's a form of negativity. So it's all within us. And sometimes you just have to kind of push it away and keep that positivity there and not obsess over your manifestations. I think that's part of it too. I've always heard that, yeah, I want that job, or I want that new car, or whatever it might be. And you're just thinking over and over, just let it go. Just keep the pot, and as if it's here, I got that car. I have that new car, or I have that new job. I got it. I picture it. I see it. It's happening. Let it go. Don't obsess over it, because if you obsess, now you're on the time clock. Now you're on your clock, not the universe's clock.
Yep. Yeah. And you just kind of give it up as well. So, and I think that's the thing too, you look at your relationships with other people. So you're bringing in this positive manifestation and trying to let go of some of the negative manifestations that you're bringing in to your roommate upstairs, your brain.
Yeah.
And then you have to start kind of looking at the people that you're around, because say you're manifesting all this positivity, but you're hanging out with Ted, who's super negative, and anytime you talk to them, and hey, we're all going to have negative moments, and we're all going to have moments where we need to vent, maybe to our friends, to family, to whoever. That's reality. you would like, that's neurotypical behavior.
Yep.
However, if you're constantly around somebody that's just really being negative and that's all they're manifesting is negativity, do you really think that you're going to get to the positive manifestations that you're trying to create in your life? And those are the other questions. And that can be really hard as well, kind of growth and change within ourselves. I just had a lady here and she did my IV infusion, which she'll be coming in once a month. Her name's Hope Taylor with IV League here in Houston. She comes in and gives you some fluids and some vitamins if you'd like to feel a little bit better, which is amazing. And her and I were talking about relationships that she's had or still has, and relationships that I've had and had to get rid of, right? Of just you're manifesting all this positivity or all this, we'll call it growth. And sometimes people around you that have been your friends for a long time, or even family members, doesn't have to be just friends, are still stuck in the same place, in the same growth pattern. They haven't grown, and you're growing and you're manifesting all this like abundance and positivity in your life. And they're not really liking this growth and change. So they keep trying to kind of creep that negativity in, and you're just trying to keep being joyful and happy. I'm not saying you're always going to be happy, but more than less. And sometimes we have to sever ties too. So that can be kind of eye-opening when we start manifesting more positivity and growth within our own lives.
I feel like you're reading my mind, because I woke up today and there's a couple of people in my life and they're good people, but they just not. My friend says, I have a friend that gave me this term, they're not serving you anymore. And it's almost in my mind today. I woke up and I said, you know what? It's just not working. And I feel like there's a chain around me and it's, attached to a weight and it's pulling me underwater. And that's exactly what I was thinking of doing, just weeding out a couple of people. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just not, it's not working for me. And I'm trying to, in my journey, and I'm sure this resonates with a lot of people listening, that, yeah, I know that person, that person's always complaining, gossiping, and it's just like this. I've heard it said before, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think of 5 people that you spend a lot of time with, and who are they? What do they bring to your life? Are there 1, 2 people that bring negativity just all the time? And it's just, maybe you don't even realize it, maybe you have a BI session with them and it's like, well, yeah, we're kind of, throwing it down every once in a while, but is it really working for you? Is it positive? Is it moving your life forward? It's just definitely something to think about. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, it's really is. It's huge for all of us, because it's really that person edifying your life. Are they bringing something to the table for you? Or are you getting breadcrumbs from them?
Yeah.
And then when you're growing with all this, the law of action, like we talked about, the manifestation and all these wonderful things, you kind of, it really starts to open your eyes. But then the hard part too is like, can you cut and sever some of those ties so that you do get the life that you really want to lead or live?
Like they say, here for a reason, we're here for a season.
Yep.
So just because they're in your life doesn't mean they have to be in your life forever, right?
No, definitely. They don't have to be. And then that's your choice, right? And sometimes those choices are pretty hard, but you think about what you'd like your life to look like. And I mean, for me with this space, this is kind of my baby. Like I have my 2 boys that are my babies too, but aside from them, which they're amazing and wonderful, this has been my other baby in manifestation. And I want people here that are positive and want to create and cultivate great things here with me, not bring me down, not bring others down, and not be negative.
Well, would you ever want your children exposed to somebody who is just not a good influence?
Yeah, no.
Well, right. So
they will be, but
but your other baby is right there in back of you, and you got to make sure you protect that baby as well. We have a few minutes left. We're going to talk about some of the new things that are coming to home yoga and fitness. We had really quick before we went on the air talking about chakras and colors. Do you think we have time to hammer down with that for a second?
Yeah, we can talk about it really quickly. So one of the things here I'm doing is, I talked about Reiki and everything in one of my earlier podcasts, but I'm also doing this chakra balancing before I step into the Reiki. I have these beautiful quartz crystal bowls. I'm just going to talk about it really kind of condensed wise. And I'm playing them on the back of people. And each one of my bowls is attuned for the chakra. There's 7 chakras in the body. Your first one is your root, that's Muladhara. Your second one is Svadhisthana, that's your left to right hip space. So that's your sacral area. You move into your third, which is Manipura, that's your solar plexus. Your heart space is your fourth, that's Anahata. Moving into throat is Vishuddha. Your third eye is Ajna, and the crown of your head is Sahasrara. So you have 7 chakras in the body. They're all of my bowls. Well, the bowls that I have are 7 chakras, and they're associated to the sound. And then each chakra has its own color, its own mantras. And we can go into this in kind of greater depth, maybe in the next podcast. But what I'm doing right now is I'm playing these bowls on people. And if the bowls aren't playing, then the bowls are telling us that that part of the body is most likely blocked. So from there, I am developing programs for people where I'm giving them smells, their stones, their asanas, the postures that they should probably be doing more of to open up this blockage in their body, the color that's associated with it. So like Manipura, if you're blocked in your solar plexus, the color is yellow. A lot of times if you're blocked in this area, you come from a space of not doing enough, not feeling worthy, so on and so forth. So then I design a plan just for that. And I give you your mantras, I give you a visualization, foods you should be adding to your diet in order to kind of unblock this area. So it's pretty powerful Eastern medicine.
You really take a look at it from all different angles, which is super cool. Now, quick question for you. I've heard that the majority of people, a lot of people have an issue with their throat chakra, meaning it's not that they have an issue with their, vocal cords, but it's speaking their mind, saying what's on their mind.
Yes, definitely. A lot of people have Vishuddha blocked, their throat space. And in this instance, it can either mean that you're not saying what you want to say, you're not feeling heard, or you're not a very good listener and you're not listening to what other people say to you.
So I'm sorry, go ahead. And what just happened? You said that and then I jumped in.
No, it's okay, go.
No, but I know we have a couple of minutes left, but what color is that chakra?
The chakra to your throat is kind of like a turquoise color.
Okay. So if you identified that as being an issue for somebody, would you suggest that they wear more turquoise?
Yeah, definitely. And that's like when I was saying, so say your root space, that's a red color. Muladhara is red. So if you're blocked in that, I would associate more stuff with red things and red things to eat, apples, tomatoes, stuff like that. The solar plexus, bananas, yellow squash, things like that. Svadhisthana is your space of sexuality. It's orange. So again, I'd say, hey, you know what? A lot of times you don't feel safe in that area, in your roots and your second chakra. And so you'd be eating fruits like oranges, something that's an orange color. So it's pretty interesting as you go up through the body and kind of associate and figure out where you're blocked. Typically, when I start doing this with someone, they may be blocked in multiple areas, double or multiple, but I always choose the one that seems to be their largest. We work on that first so that we can move to the other ones, because it's like putting that massive expectation out of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be so balanced in all the areas. And it's like, we're doing our best every day. And we're just, part of me, working through the stages of our body and the energies of our body, and the people that we come in contact affect energetically us inside, whether we're at the grocery store too, talking to the person behind us. Everybody carries energy. So we need to be mindful of that as well. If we're out at a party, the people that were around, did we leave that party feeling really drained, or did we leave feeling energetic and uplifted from it? Okay, hey, you know what? Larry's party, he's having that party again in 2 weeks. I may take that invitation. I really liked his appetizers.
Yep.
So,
Or the vibe. Listen, we have a second left here, but funny you should say that. At a party on Saturday night, just a gathering, bunch of people over. It was a last minute thing. Everybody in the room said, I was really tired. I wasn't even thinking about coming, but I'm so glad I did because we had a great time. And it just turned into, it was the vibe of all the people, the synergy of everybody together. And we were playing pool and darts and things like that. And it was just a good time. So yeah, it's, and thank you for bringing up the color of the food. I've never heard that before in terms of connection with the chakra. But you know what? We'll press the pause button on that and hit that up maybe some other time, because we go deep into chakras.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Sure. Real quick, what do you got going on over at the studio there?
So we have some new teachers, Luke and Sheila. They're part of Southpaw Therapeutics here in Houston, and they're going to be teaching, starting both a yoga class here. We're just kind of working the kinks out for that, so that'll be up on the calendar by next week. And then I have the dates for my Inner Goddess retreat. It's in Galveston, Texas, July 17th to the 19th. It's $525 to come, which is really inexpensive for a retreat. That's your stay. I'm going to be cooking healthy, cooking for everybody, lunch and dinner. Plus, I'll be doing everyone's juices. I'll be juicing for everyone in the morning. Everyone will get a cup of my bone broth that I personally make as well. They'll get a little goodie bag with a journal in it. We're going to be painting. We're going to be making bracelets. We'll have all the yoga on the beach. I'll also be giving times where I can be doing Reiki sessions. And it's going to be a great retreat for women to slow down, connect with themselves, find some joy, and be flexible, right? Because when you're at retreats and you're with people you don't know, that can bring up some stuff too for you. So whether you're open and honest with yourself internally and willing to listen to what does come up, instead of it just being in your little circle of people that you know all the time. So maybe create a little bit of vulnerability. So we just put that on the website. I'll be putting all the offerings in more description on the website, and people can start signing up for it, because I'm only taking 12 people.
Gotcha. And where's that going to be again?
It'll be in Galveston, Texas, in this beautiful home. It's second row off the beach. The deck faces the beach, so we'll get to hear all the beautiful waves, and you'll be a part of nature. So
for the price and what you get, especially the experience and the food and the bone broth, I mean, come on, it's world famous.
Right? Yeah. And then the fresh juice in the morning. So I want it to be accessible. I want it to be accessible for most people, because a lot of the retreats are so expensive that a lot of people just don't get access to them. So
awesome. Well, it's always a pleasure talking with you. homeyogaandfitness.com. Kendall Knight, positive intentions. That's what it's all about today.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to catching up next time.
Sounds good. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.